For over 25 years, God has been teaching us in Children in Christ about the importance of children, the power of spiritually nurturing them in His authentic love and truth, and the impact that they can have on the world. Our ministry started in one person's driveway in West Africa. Terry Andrews, a medical doctor and a woman of faith, wanted to reach out to her neighboring children who had never heard about Jesus. After a few weeks, those children started bringing friends. Within a few months, she had 100 children coming to her home. She began to equip and empower local volunteers, children and teens, to start co-facilitating the ministry with her. Many of the youth were leading the Bible stories, the worship, and the prayer. When she was called back to another country, the ministry continued because the adults and children kept it going. Many of the teens started going out into other villages and beginning the ministry there. One of these young leaders, a university student, went back to his home village, where he shared the love and truth of Jesus with all the children. He discipled several teens as co-leaders, and together they launched many clubs in the region of Guinea. A few years later, two of these 18-year-old boys, Francis and James, were inspired to share God's love and truth with others in the neighboring country of Liberia. So they crossed over the border with only $7 in their pockets. And though local churches would not host them in Liberia, a Muslim man of peace graciously allowed them to sleep in his car. He was touched by how much they encouraged and ministered deeply to his own children. Years later, the same Muslim man said these two teenage boys were better fathers to his own sons than he had been. Every day, Francis and James would wake up in that hot car, work for their breakfast, and then walk 20 or more kilometers daily to launch and run children's clubs in neighboring areas. As the months passed, they would identify young believers who had leadership potential and mentor them the same way that they had been coached on club leadership. After several months, these new Liberian youth leaders were then able to run the clubs on their own with ongoing coaching. All to say, Francis and James, two 18-year-old boys living in a car, inspired and called by God, were able to launch a whole new country ministry by God's grace, might, and strength. Today, Liberia is one of our many thriving country programs. In the past 25 plus years, we've grown from just a handful of children meeting in one driveway to having reached and discipled over 1 million children in His love and truth. And through inspired, equipped, and empowered volunteers and youth leaders, the ministry has multiplied and grown across countries and continents. The result? Powerfully transformed children, families, and communities that spread His love, hope, and joy to others. The Lord has consistently shown us He can powerfully move through children. What the world sees as humble and weak, He has made strong.